evening and welcome to Thai PBS World Tonight. Today you are with หัดไทยเตชะกิจเทียนันท์ and ทูลิปนักสมภพลาว
Well, good evening and TGIF. Let's kick off the program with this big development. So the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration, or CCSA, decided today to extend the country's state of emergency for the 15th time for 2 more months until the end of January, and also to remove the COVID dark red zone status, which means that there is going to be no more of nighttime curfew anywhere in the country, according to the spokesman, Dr. Twisin Wissanuyotin. With the removal of the dark red category, he said the nighttime curfew will be scrapped nationwide. So for pubs, bars, and karaoke bars, the CCSA's previous order to extend the closure until January 15, with everything being allowed to open up on January 16 of next year, will still be the same. This will remain in place, but they may be allowed to reopen sooner if the situation improves. This is according to Dr. Twisin. So in the meantime, the operators of these venues will be allowed to begin work on improving their air circulation and getting their staff fully inoculated to be ready for assessment by health officials on December 1st onwards. Licenses to reopen will be granted to those which pass the assessment. In the Sandbox provinces and provinces under WASH, the venues which pass the assessment will be permitted to serve alcohol until 11 p.m., but they will have to close at midnight. There will be no dancing, karaoke singing, sharing of glasses. Well, I think this one is quite a common sense thing.
Right.
And also promotional activities or any activities that require close physical contact. So no such thing would be allowed. And in terms of reopening the country, getting the tourists from specified countries and territories to come in, the fully inoculated people arriving under the Sandbox scheme will be required to stay within the initial province for 5 days only. So this is a reduction from 10 or 14 days previously. This will take effect from December 16, and from December 1st, foreign arrivals under the TESCO and Sandbox programs, which are quarantine exempt schemes, will only be required to take rapid antigen tests instead of RT-PCR tests, which actually take longer.
Yeah, and that rapid test actually costs less, so it's gonna make the whole thing more appealing to a lot of travelers, I think. I'm just wondering, no dancing. What's dancing do with the outbreak?
Exactly.
Karaoke, I understand. I mean, you have to pass on the microphone. Sometimes there might be germs on the microphone. You don't want that thing to get passed along. But dancing, I mean,
well,
I don't know.
It depends on what kind of dancing, right? If you're too close to someone.
Anyway, the CCSA also reduced the number of red provinces from 39 to 23. Kanchanaburi, Pathum Thani, and Nonthaburi have been added to the existing Sandbox provinces, which include Bangkok, Krabi, Phang Nga, and Phuket. There are 3 phases of the reopening of areas classified as sandboxes. The first phase is from November 1st to November 30th. The second phase is from December 1st to December 31st for 26 provinces. The third stage will be effective from January 1st.
Right.
Interesting. So we will see a lot more. I don't know if a lot more, but we would definitely see more foreigners in Thailand.
Although a lot of people have expressed disappointment because they're trying to push for reopening of these night venues by next month already. So that would be in time for the new year, which is, of course, the peak period to party. But actually, I have even seen some foreigners here saying something like, "Oh, I'll go to Cambodia instead then." Well, it's quite disappointing for a lot of people, but But at least we know that there is a bit of light at the end of the tunnel, even though that tunnel is a bit far.
Yes, I think the tunnel is a little longer than a lot of people hope for. So that's the reason why there is a group of musicians and performance artists actually filed a class action lawsuit against the finance and public health ministries and the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, demanding compensation for losses incurred due to the lockdown restrictions imposed in the past 2 years to contain the spread of COVID-19. The group is supported by three member parliaments from the opposition Move Forward Party, namely Siri Kanya Tansakul, Thao Pipop, Lim Chittakorn, and Pakornwut Udom Pipatsakul. Sri Kanya told the media today that the Move Forward Party has previously helped operators of massage parlors affected by lockdown restrictions. A similar case was filed with the help of the party by operators of eateries, pubs, and bars, said Sri Kanya, and she says that she is optimistic that the civil court will accept the case. Pakorn Ponsenda, a member of the I Hear band, said that musicians have been without work for the past 2 years since the pandemic broke out, and the situation is not improving despite Thailand reopening for foreign arrivals. And he said that they have tried to look for other odd jobs, but the income is not sufficient for their families. Sirikanya said that the compensation being sought from the state is based on the revenues of the affected artists and musicians in 2019, and that the people in the entertainment businesses are hoping that the CCSA will ease the lockdown measures quickly to allow the sector to resume normal businesses. But like you said, Hatay, they will allow after New Year, but New Year time is the peak time for all these musicians to go perform, to make money at all these events.
Exactly. Well, I do feel for them definitely, and for a lot of us who do see this firsthand, going out on the street, being out at night, and everything is just dead quiet, and
Yeah.
one would wonder, oh my God, how do they survive? So of course, this is really important. And turning now to the COVID vaccination and medication situation. So we have some good news as the Thai government has signed purchase contracts of 30 million more doses of the Pfizer vaccine and 50,000 courses of the Molnupiravir antiviral drug. So according to Public Health Minister Anutin Chanvirakul, the first batch of the 30 million doses being bought under the deal is expected to be delivered in the first quarter of next year and will be administered as booster shots. He assured the public there will be sufficient vaccines for next year and that there will be additional 60 million doses of AstraZeneca and protein subunit vaccines currently being developed by the Vaccine Research Center of Chulalongkorn University and by Phytopharm Company. And 20 million doses of this vaccine, it is estimated, will be held in reserve, which will become available following approval from the Thai Food and Drug Administration, or FDA. So if it is approved by the Thai FDA, the additional vaccine will also be administered next year to about 5 million children aged 5 to 11. And also, the Medical Services Department signed a 5 million baht deal with MSD Thailand yesterday to buy 50,000 courses of Molnupiravir from the US firm Merck, which is an oral antiviral medication for the treatment of COVID. So according to Medical Services Department Director General Dr. Somsak Akasin, the Molnupiravir is currently in the process of seeking approval for emergency use from the US FDA as well as Thai FDA, of course. So each course of the medicine consists of 40 of the 200 milligram capsules, and the patient must take the 4 capsules twice a day, 12 hours apart for 5 straight days. It actually seems quite expensive, and if you still remember, Thailand is classified as upper middle income. Not country, so we actually not eligible to receive sort of free, or at really low cost help by, getting share the formula to be able to produce it ourselves. So hence, quite a big budget.
Yep, and it's gonna pay for by the taxpayer money.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on to another story. If anybody tell you that they scared their phone, somebody listening to their conversation through the phone, lots of people will say, "Oh, you're just thinking too much, or you are just paranoid." But this become a real story when Apple, the company, actually sent messages to many activists and academics in Thailand who have been critical of Thailand's establishment, warning that the company believes that their iPhones have been targeted by the state-sponsored attackers. This sound like some kind of suspense movie, huh?
Right.
Many took to social media to review the messages which they had received. Associate Professor Dr. Prajak Kongkirati, a political scientist at Thammasat University, said that he had received 2 emails from Apple warning that it believed his iPhone and iCloud accounts had been targeted, along with a threat notification on his Apple account. Researcher Sarini Achwanantakul and activist Yingchi Achanon of the Internet Law Reform Dialogue, or ILAW, said that they had received similar emails, while a rapper, a political activist, and a politician opposed to the government separately posted screenshots of the same email on their social media accounts. The messages warned that if your device is compromised by a state-sponsored attacker, they may be able to remotely access your sensitive data, communications, or even the camera and microphone. So Deshathon Hawk Hacker Bamrung Mueang from the Rap Against Dictatorship group, who has previously been arrested for sedition but was later released, said that he was appalled by the hacking attempt. He said that his group will probably write a song about this. So now he gets another sort of inspiration for his next song, I guess. And he said that he thinks the state will not stop this. So Rap Against Dictatorship took a high-profile role in the youth-led protest that shook Bangkok last year, demanding the resignation of Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha, who came to power in 2014 coup. Its rap song Pratet Gumi, translated to What My Country's Got, which detailed out the social and political ills in Thailand, has now gained 102 million views on YouTube since its release more than 3 years ago. It's kind of, if you listen to it, if you haven't, I'm sure that most of you would already, because it's pretty big thing when it's launched. It's the content is more like satire and sarcastic.
Exactly, it is. But it did seem to touch a lot of people who think the same way, that, well, this is it. This is so true. And hence their immense popularity from that song. Actually, they released more songs after that, but the viewership is not the same as this original song.
Right.
And of course, as you said, it's really scary indeed. And you can never really trust technology anymore.
Yep, who knows that it will be true. One day you're going to get the email from the company that manufacture your phone and say that your phone has been hacked. That's kind of scary.
Right. And I think the best action right now is probably just try to save everything in a safe place or in multiple places even. Yeah.
Maybe people just have to start going back to analog.
Why not? Although I still love the way I got my food delivered.
Yes.
And
convenience.
Right. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Thai PBS World tonight. Do catch us like this every weekday at 7 p.m. for all the top stories, explainers, and you can't miss out chats as well. And please do share whatever you think about the news, about our presentation in the comment section.
And don't forget to catch on our social media. We have Facebook, YouTube, we have Twitter, it's very active. Just give us a yell out and see, if there anything you want to comment or share with your friends.
Right.
And that's all we have for this episode of Thai PBS World Tonight. And we will come back to see you again on Monday.